Yeah, and unlike many of the people here, I'm not a student of Ed's, nor a collaborator, and thus was feeling very much like when I heard there was a request to play, I was like, not me, no thanks, I'll be so outclassed, but Chico gave me a nudge, so here I am. So while I never did to sleep weary hobo, as the calendar slowly by, can you hear the steel rails coming? That's a hobo's lullaby.
All once a week or the best part of the week. Thank you, Ed. I'm gonna play Ain't Misbehavin'. Eddie, I'm still practicing. I'm not misbehaving. No one to talk with, I'm by myself. No one to walk with, I'm happy on the shelf. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you.
Before every time we would play it together, he'd like to sing it as Elmer Fudd would sing it. And he would turn to me and say, once I had a secret love. I really love this song, so that's why I've decided to sing this. I know, I'm nervous too. What's going on?
Picture everyone in their underwear.
When the whole wide world is fast asleep, you lie awake and think about the good, but never ever think of counting sheep.
Through clear day, so why am I the only one traveling this way? How strange the road to love should be so easy. Can't you see the detour ahead? Wake up, slow down.
Dedicate this song by Billy Joe Shaver to Ed and his beautiful family. I always think of it in the present tense. This is called I'm Gonna Live Forever. I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna cross that river. I'm gonna catch tomorrow now. You're gonna wanna hold me just like I always told you. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone.
I first fell in love with Ed's music through that wonderful album of Satie arrangements that he did. And it's still one of my absolute favorite albums, really. And so this song has some French in it, as a little tribute of that, and it also has the concept of, music and heaven are sort of one and the same. And it seems like a pretty good line. I think I'll stick with it. That's one of those things I think Ed would relate to. Est-ce que d'avoir vu dans vos yeux l'indifférence, ou bien lorsque je pense la doute de l'absence, ce qui semblait si merveilleux à partager.
I'm tired of my friends dying, I guess, and Ed used to always walk into my store and say, "Hey, Daddy-O," and I miss that a lot. He built the home I'm living in, and I miss him, so. Oh, and sorry, I brought my own guitar, but then Justin asked me if I wanted to play this. I think it's a '64 Gibson here, so I'm gonna play this one. This is a Jason Isbell song called Elephant. She said, "Andy, you are better than your past." Winked at me and drained a glass. Cross-legged on a bar stool like nobody sits anymore. She said, "Andy, you are taking me home." But I knew she planned to sleep alone.
And I wanted to learn an Erik Satie song on thereon, but I realized pretty quickly that probably wasn't going to happen in the time allowed. But it did get me practicing it. So hopefully someday, for Ed, I will get good enough and play the Erik Satie song.
Hi everyone, my name is Renia. I'm a sophomore in high school. I've been learning guitar since I was 7 years old, so almost 8 years now. This piece I'm going to play today is a classical finger picking piece. I've definitely struggled with finger picking most of my life, but Ed's really helped me with that, so thanks to him, I'm a little better. And no piece is perfect, but I think this one's pretty good now.
I learned from Ed how to say snow tires in Maryland. You say snake tires. So I thought that was really an important thing to share. And I thank him for that because I'll have it the rest of my life. Also, I was the musical director for a number of years for the Barn Arts Christmas cabaret, holiday cabaret. And one year, Ed and Dixie played with me. And Ed came walking in with his binder that said, and some of you may not be able to completely relate to this, but the binder had a label on that said, "A Bob Merrill Christmas Show." So the people from the 60s and 70s might be able to relate to that. So, and then I think the most appropriate thing to tell you now is that I came in and I was going to play this keyboard, and I'm sitting there and I looked at it and I went, "There's no sustain pedal on that keyboard." Oh. And I don't know if you're not a keyboard player, you don't realize that it's not an instrument without the sustain pedal. So I'm going to be playing the grand piano over there. I'm not going to be singing, so it's okay. And the
We shouldn't be here. I don't want to be here. None of you want to be here because Ed should be here. Then that's all I want to say. This just sucks. So, pardon my French, fuck this. But I love you all so much. I just love you so much. More than you'll ever know. Charlie Strauss. Once upon a time, when you had moonlight in your eyes, you put your hand in mine. You said you loved me so.
I met Ed in 2006. I wanted to learn a little about jazz, so I met him in that cute little back room in Hanover Strings. And I'd been kind of a folky player. And I said, Ed, I want to learn a little bit about jazz. And he showed me my first flat 9 chord.
All right.
Yeah. And I was hooked. And Ed helped me get into jazz, learn the jazz community in this beautiful area we live in. And I owe him a huge debt of gratitude for that. David, you had something to say?
Over the 25 years that Ed was around this part, I had a few instances to run into him, not nearly often enough, unfortunately. But I was fortunate enough to play a few gigs with him. Interesting, one was on the banjo. We had referenced that earlier. We did the last gig I did with him was a year ago, and it was a memorial sort of second line celebration in Cornish, and we had a lot of fun putting the tunes together for that. With Jacob Brightback was on that gig as well. So, I just say, seeing all the influence that all the musicians that I run into in the Upper Valley, almost everyone has either knows Ed, has played with Ed, or more likely has studied with Ed. So he's had a huge impact on music and the cultural life of the Upper Valley. Thank you, Ed.
So this is a song. This is a song I wrote for Ed, AKA Fast Eddie. Just a little band. Here we go. I say, hey, Fast Eddie, Eddie, won't you show me that lick?
So we thought we'd come and do a simple, small song by another musician who was also a really good person. And I like to think that maybe there is a heaven and all these folks are playing together, I hope. Summer's ends around the bend, just flying. Swimming suits are on the line, just drying. I'll meet you there per our conversation.
It's a Roy Buchanan song, and it's my dad, Chris, and I'm Nick. Brad.
I've walked into a lot of places I never should have been, but I know the Messiah, he will come again.
one of the first people I met when I moved up here in 2010 at Hanover Strings. And I, like so many up here, I was one of Ed's students. And James Berger here, to my right, and I were in a trio with Ed called Tiny Top Hats. And tonight our good friend Dave Lloyd over here is going to play guitar. And remember our good friend. See, I'm getting all of the banter and memories out of the way so that, by the time we're all set up here, we're going to play you a song. Thank you, Chico. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Dixie. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Shaken Bridge, for letting us be here tonight. For Ed, yes. I'm gonna just turn it on. All right, so the last gig that Tiny Top Hats played together was in March of 2020. Yep, right before everything shut down. And shortly after that, so in lessons, it was really cool. I always came to Ed with a song I wanted to learn, and he'd show me how to play it. And the last song that he taught me how to play was this song we're going to play for you tonight. It's a Tom Waits cover. It's called "Come On Up to the House." Here we go.
Come on up to the house. The only thing that you can see is all that you lack. Come on up to the house. All your crying won't do you no good. Come on up to the house. Come down off the cross. You can use the wood. Come on up to the house. You got to come on up to the house.
Hey, can we get it up for Chico over here? Ed was anything if he was a family man. I got to know Chico first, and then Emily, and then Justin, and of course Dixie early on along the way. And if we could all aspire to have families like the Eastridges. So this is a song that Jess has written about being back here in Vermont, about coming back.
It's called "I Can See Your Love." And I want to show you mine.
So Bob got in touch with me and said, how about we do this song for Ed? And I said, yeah, it sounds like a good idea. It's not exactly a sing-along, but you can sing along. I hope you do, because I like it when people sing along. And I changed the lyrics a little bit. I hope I can get through them. And I wanted to talk about the word run, because the song has that word in the title. I won't give it away, but a run for a musician is a little connecting phrase that goes between chords, but I think it speaks well to how Ed is living in our hearts, because he connected us all to music and to each other, and I have a lot of respect for teachers, and Ed was one hell of a teacher. We've been through through some things together, with trunks of memories still to come.
That was a little joke for Chico. Marrying into the Eastridges is pretty cool. Chico is pretty great, but the full package is just awesome. And Ed, you couldn't really fathom a better father-in-law. The Eastridges made all of the Cassidys their family as well, which was very meaningful to all of us. My dad and my brother are here. They live in the Upper Valley as well. And my mom, when my grandmother came to visit when she was like 96, Ed took her to Coburn's. It was pretty fun. And a lot of great breakfast, a lot of talking. I also really liked Ed's accent, but really just enjoyed listening to him. He was super engaged. We talked about the news. I liked overhearing him and Chico troubleshoot weird Adobe programs that I'd never heard of, and trying to figure out all the settings over the phone and all that. And I'm just gonna miss hearing Ed. I agree with David. I think this sucks. And I wish that Ed was here. But there was a lot about this that was very desperately sad and challenging, but I think one of the things that was very beautiful about it was that Ed was in charge, and that was only possible because of Dixie and Emily and Justin and Chico and Ed working together. And that was extraordinary to watch and also unsurprising to watch. I am pretty bad at ukulele. When Chico and I lived next door to Ed and Dixie about 10 years ago, Ed taught me a couple things. I am not a musician. I don't recall how this even happened. He helped me pick this guitar, I think, or it's a ukulele. I think it was like $40, which was probably right, given that I haven't played it in about a decade until this past week, which has been surprisingly comforting, actually. And yeah, we'll just see how this goes. So this is, I'm gonna take off my ring actually, because I just can feel it. This is a song that Ed taught me. All of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see, I'm no good without you. Take my lips, I want to lose them.
Once in Persia reigned a king, who upon his royal reign carved these words, so true and wise, which when held before his eyes gave him counsel at a glance of his life of changing chance. Solemn words, and these are they, even this shall pass away. Trains of camels through the sand brought him gems from Smarkaland. Fleets of galleys through the sea brought him pearls to match with these, but he counted not his gain, nor his treasure, mine nor main. What is wealth, the king would say, even this shall pass away. But in the revel of his court, at the zenith of his sport, when the hands of all his guests burned with clapping at his zest, he among his figs and wine would cry, Oh, loving friends of mine, pleasures may come, but they cannot stay. And even this shall pass away. The most beautiful woman he'd ever seen was the wife he chose as queen. Pillowed upon their royal bed, whispering to her soul, he said, though a bridesmaid never pressed dearer bosom to my chest, mortal flesh must come to clay, and even this shall pass away. Towering over the village square, 30 meters in the air, rose his sculpture carved in stone. And as the king stood there, alone, gazing upon his sculpted name, thought to himself, what is fame? Fame is but a slow decay, and even this shall pass away. Fighting furiously upon the battlefield, once a javelin pierced his shield. Soldiers with a loud lament bore him bleeding to his tent. Screaming from his tortured side, the pain is hard to bear, he cried. Oh, but with patience, day by day, even this shall pass away. Sick and sore with cancer, weak, tired, old. Just minutes left to go past the gates he gold, spoke he with his dying breath. Life is done. So what is death? Then in answer to the king fell a sunbeam upon his ring, reflecting words he failed to say.
Yes, sir.
This has been really wonderful and pretty surreal. It's really an homage to Ed's lives and all of our lives to see each other in this capacity, and just thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. As Chico has been saying, this is the Jitters segment of the evening. For those of you who don't know, the Jitters family band was the Eastridges, and we'd come out about every 7 years to play pancake brunches, poorly usually. But the Jitters aren't playing tonight as we usually do, because Papa Jitter isn't here tonight, and he was kind of the nucleus. And I do want to acknowledge my mom, Mama Jitter. Dixie is here. And Mom, I know this is really hard, but we're gonna get through it. Just like Chico's poem said. Thanks, Chico. That was helpful. Good philosophy. But also thank you, Mom, and thank you, Dad, for making music such a huge part of our lives. And none of us are virtuosos like you and Dad were. You're professional musicians, you're giants in music, you've had real careers. And for those of you who don't know, Ed was very goal-oriented, and in the last several months of his life, he had Chico and I working very, very hard on archiving all of his music and also all of Dixie's music. And if you want to hear these splendid collections, you can go to bigmorecords.com, and Dixie has her anthology of music there, and then all of Ed's music, but then also some names you might recognize, like Lydia Gray, or Grace Wallace, or Danny Gatton. So check it out. The music is still here and still alive. And we're gonna play a song now that Ed wrote and sang with his band Babe in the 70s, and it's on YouTube. It's called Call Me, and it's kind of a sing-along as well. If you pick it up, there's lots of la-la-las, so la-la-la along. And, but it's really cute if you listen to the recording, because Ed's like 20, and he has kind of a British accent, like British folk pop, and it's like, he would be cringing so hard right now if he knew we were playing this song. Do you want to add anything?
I just wanted to add that, this was my favorite song of his that he wrote. This and Baby Jean were my two favorites, and grew up with him lullabying us to sleep with this. And one other thing I wanted to add while we have most of the people here is that a while back, Dixie, Mama posted a picture of Ed with one of his hats on. There was a lot of comments about how deep in thought he was, and lots of people commenting on what he was thinking about. And good friend of his, Ed Casey, made a post that was very simple. It just said N+1. Sorry. Ed and Eddie were the geeks. They were the original Geek Squad with Jim Cranka, Ron Phelan, and a handful of other guys down in DC making their own consoles and building recording trucks, and Dixie wrangling all of us around and making everything happen in the background. But N+1 is basically the standard formula for it's in a component system or electronic system that there's an additional piece in the componentry that makes it so that the system can never fail. And so I thought it was very fitting that Ed posted that because Pops was like the nth power, and we were all his +1. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3.
Wake me up when I have to go. I can't be late for the show. I've got to find a little more time to see